As the detectives traveled through fields to a wooded area, other officers secured the perimeter. They eventually found a hollow beech tree that matched Matthew's description, which had a hole about 6 feet up from the ground. When an officer looked inside the hole, they spotted what looked like trash bags. Another hole was cut in the tree and the trash bags were examined, revealing remains belonging to Tina Herman, Cody Maynard, Stephanie Sprang, and Tanner the dog.
That's crazy. Actual psychopath. He cut a perfect ass square in this hollow tree, stuck the bodies in there, all of them too. All 3 bodies and the dog. That's so bizarre. Hello, YouTube. Spooky video today. It's 11:40 p.m. my time. I'm in the mood for spooky stuff, and it's spooky season, right? I mean, it's about to be October, so yeah. In today's video, we're back with Explore With Us, and the name of this video, The Horror Inside the Hollowed Tree. It literally reads like a scary movie, except it's real. I can just tell it's gonna be disturbing. I'm both excited and extremely scared at this time of night to watch this video. Before we get into today's video, as you can see, I am streaming on Twitch right now. There's chat on the other side of the screen. We watch videos like this all the time: true crime, short films, Vocaloid. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, follow me on Twitch to join us for moments like this. And also make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter to stay updated on what I'm doing. I'm gonna shut up now.
I knew I must have done something wrong. And I found her in my house. She's tied up.
I am out of her house now. I just went in her home because I'm so worried about her.
This is 30-year-old Matthew Hoffman. He's just been arrested at one of the most bizarre crime scenes ever, filled with something so strange that you'll have to see it to believe it. After sitting in complete silence for hours, in approximately 3 seconds, you'll see him finally crack and speak for the first time, admitting that a missing 13-year-old girl was found in his basement.
We're only 30 seconds in. We saw a little girl tied up. I'm not ready for this.
But what he says next is completely unexpected. When Valerie Haythorne became concerned that something horrible had happened to her coworker after she failed to show up for work, she broke into her house only to find a disturbing scene. However, she would soon discover that her coworker wasn't the only one missing, and the truth of what happened was even more horrific than anyone even feared. The nightmare began on Wednesday, November 10th, 2010 in Apple Valley, Ohio, when 32-year-old Tina Herman, a reliable employee at the local Dairy Queen, missed a day of work. For most people, this wouldn't be a big deal. However, she also wasn't answering any texts or calls, all of which was highly unusual for her. Concerned for her well-being, Valerie Haythorne, Tina's manager, decided to drive by her house and make sure everything was okay. She saw Tina's truck was in the driveway with another unknown car and that the lights were on inside the house, but she still felt like something wasn't quite right. She called the police and told them that Tina hadn't shown up for work.
Sheriff Barber's office.
Hi, my name is Valerie Haythorne, and I work out at Dairy Queen. I'm the general manager out there.
So this is a coworker. Oh, no, she's the manager there, and she went to go check up on Tina, I believe, the employee. AW manager for caring.
One of my employees did not show up for work this afternoon at 4 o'clock,
Okay.
which is totally uncharacteristic of her. She's one of my managers.
Okay.
I drove out by her house and went and knocked on the door, left her a note. She's not answering her phone, which is totally uncharacteristic. She's not answering her texts, and she is not at home, but her truck and her coat are in the house. Her truck's there and her coat is in the house. I'm very concerned about her.
What's her name?
Her name is Tina Herman, Herrmann.
Okay.
I know that she and her boyfriend are splitting up, and he can be a real jerk with her.
Okay. Do you have a phone number for her?
Oh, God, I do, but it's in my phone. I'd have to call you back.
Okay, that's fine. What was your name again?
My name is Valerie Haythorne.
Okay. Okay, I will
They must have been pretty close, the fact that she knows as much as she does about Tina's personal life.
have a deputy swing out there and check on her.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Anytime.
All right,
Bye.
bye.
Responding rather quickly, 2 different officers at different times showed up to check the residence, but when they knocked, no one came to the door. They left the matter unresolved. The next day, an officer called East Knox Schools to find out if Tina's 2 children, 13-year-old Sarah Maynard and 10-year-old Cody Maynard, had been in school. They were told that both children were in school on Wednesday, but hadn't shown up on Thursday. Soon, a man named Ron Metcalf was also contacting the police because his girlfriend, 41-year-old Stephanie Sprang, appeared to be missing. She was Tina's best friend, and they'd been together before he lost contact with Stephanie. Ron had last spoken to Stephanie around 12:45 on Wednesday, but she hadn't answered any of his calls since then. Around 4 p.m. on this same Thursday, Tina's determined boss, Valerie, decided to take matters into her own hands. When she got to Tina's house, she noticed that Tina's truck was now gone from the driveway, and only the unknown vehicle was left. This vehicle would turn out to belong to Stephanie. When her knocks on the front door
This is so spooky. all of these people missing just like that. Yeah. Somebody in chat even said it. 4 people just gone, and their cars are in mysterious places.
Unknown vehicle was left. This vehicle would turn out to belong to Stephanie. When her knocks on the front door went unanswered, Valerie decided to enter the house using an unlocked window on the back porch. Once inside, she saw blood in the bathroom and on the carpet, as well as splattered throughout the home. She immediately left the house and called the police.
This is Deputy Sylvia. Can I help you?
Yes, this is Valerie Haythorne. I called in last night about Tina Herman being missing. I am out at her house now. I just went in her home because I'm so worried about her. There is blood everywhere.
Okay. Where are you at? I'm sorry. I just got back today, so.
Okay.
So you just need to kind of fill me in a little bit, okay?
Tina Herman works for me. She did not show up for work yesterday, and we have not been able to locate her or her children for the last 24 hours now. I just spoke with...
No, I'm sorry, ma'am.
Okay.
I just need an address.
481 Kings Beach Drive in Apple Valley.
Okay. Just give us a few minutes and we'll be in around, okay?
Okay, Seth.
Don't go back in the house.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying in the driveway.
Okay, thank you.
No, right.
All right, bye.
Bye.
By Friday, November 12th, the police were officially investigating 4 disappearances: Tina, Sarah, Cody, and Stephanie. The family dog, a miniature pinscher named Tanner, was also missing. The house was searched for clues, and the first discovery was very disheartening. The initial crime scene investigation concluded that the evidence indicated assault with bodily injury, including a large amount of blood and what looked like drag marks leading to the bathroom. There was also blood on the top of the basement stairs and in the basement. Something terrible had happened in Tina's home, but the exact extent of the horror still wasn't clear. The first suspect in the disappearances was the most obvious. Right at the beginning of the investigation, the police were told that Tina and her boyfriend were in the middle of a breakup, and her friends were worried that something may have happened between them. Gregory Borders, Tina's live-in boyfriend.
Man, you'd be surprised how many times a breakup really just reveals the unhinged nature of the guy. Have you guys noticed that? This isn't the first case we've covered where something unhinged happens on the guy's part after a breakup. I don't know what it is.
Gregory Borders, Tina's live-in boyfriend, who was not the father of her children, was interviewed immediately after he came to the police station voluntarily. In his statement, he admitted that he and Tina had split up, but they were still living in the house together until either of them could make other arrangements. Interestingly, Gregory normally has Wednesdays off from work, the day Tina went missing, but he decided to work overtime at Target Distribution in West Jefferson, Ohio, about 1.5 hours away. He worked from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m., but instead of coming back home, he said he stayed at a friend's house in Urbana, as they had plans to play golf in Bellefontaine the next day. It all seemed very convenient, except that all of his time was accounted for, and his friend verified that they had dinner together and stayed in watching TV. Gregory received a call from his mother around noon on Thursday, and she told him that Tina was missing. But instead of panicking and coming to help look for her, he just assumed she took the day off and continued to golf. Gregory only realized his assumption couldn't have been more wrong when he finally returned to the home he shared with Tina. There he found that an investigation into the disappearances had already begun. After investigators cleared the crime scene, Gregory's own family arrived with bleach to clean up the blood in the house so that he wouldn't have to see it. With Gregory cleared, investigators had to move on to other leads.
The family already began cleaning stuff? Wait, let me hear that again.
The next investigators cleared the crime scene. Gregory's own family arrived with bleach to clean up.
Gregory's own family arrived. Was this after the investigation or was this before?
Already begun. After investigators cleared the crime.
Okay, after. This was after. Okay. I thought, dude, I got scared. I thought Gregory's family started cleaning shit before the investigators got there. Like they were trying to help hide stuff.
Gregory's own family arrived with bleach to clean up the blood in the house so that he wouldn't have to see it. With Gregory cleared, investigators had to move on to other leads. The next development was on that same Thursday when Tina's vehicle was discovered abandoned in the campus parking lot of the nearby Kenyon College, with no sign of her or anyone else. But it was something at the crime scene back at Tina's house that soon became the most promising piece of evidence. Investigators found Walmart shopping bags containing 2 tarps and a box of heavy-duty trash bags. Now, that's not a good sign at all. But in this case, it was also the investigation's big break because, along with the shopping bags, they also found a receipt for the purchase. Detectives wasted no time requesting the surveillance footage from the Walmart in Mount Vernon and began scouring it for someone making the suspicious purchase of garbage bags and tarps, along with a turkey sandwich and a t-shirt which was seen on the receipt. It wasn't long before they found him, buying the items just after midnight on Thursday morning. Just to be sure they had the right guy, investigators obtained a copy of the receipt from the suspicious transaction and compared the product codes with the receipt they found at the crime scene, and they matched. The suspect was a white male, 25 to 40 years old, with brown hair, wearing a camouflage shirt and glasses.
What a big-ass range, 25 to 40 years old.
He was caught on the footage leaving the Walmart in a silver Toyota Yaris. Using still images of the suspect, the investigators used the Ohio Law Enforcement Gateway to search for any owners of a silver Toyota Yaris. It was then that they found a name, 30-year-old Matthew J. Hoffman. His vehicle appeared to match the surveillance video, and in his Ohio BMV photo, taken only 16 days before the Walmart footage was caught, he was even wearing a camouflage shirt similar to the one in the video. Obviously, the police knew they had to talk to him, but Matthew had two possible addresses. One belonged to his mother, Patricia Heglin, and was only 0.4 miles from Tina's home. The other was registered under his name and was only 10 miles from Tina's. If there was any doubt that Matthew was the right guy, a search of the Knox County Sheriff's Office revealed that he had actually been stopped near where Tina's van was found within the same hour that it was discovered. An officer had stopped him to ask why he was in the area, but believing nothing was amiss, let him go. The sheriff's office also revealed that there was also a report of domestic violence between Matthew and his then living girlfriend that occurred about 1 month before the disappearances.
So he was an abusive boyfriend, huh?
During an argument, and his then living girlfriend that occurred about 1 month before the disappearances. During an argument, Matthew allegedly choked his now ex-girlfriend. It was also discovered that following the breakup, Matthew had just recently been fired from his job as a tree trimmer for apparently making his supervisor uncomfortable. His ex-girlfriend was contacted, and she told the police that Matthew no longer lived at his mother's house and hadn't for several months. Finally, the police knew where to look for Tina, Sarah, Cody, and Stephanie. Once search warrants were obtained just 3 days after the disappearances, a SWAT team descended on Matthew's home. Because they weren't sure if Matthew had kidnapped the 4 people, they conducted a no-knock search and used a ram to force entry through the front door. They then threw in a flash grenade before they entered the home. What they found was more bizarre than they could have ever expected. Matthew was asleep on the sofa. He resisted a little by not showing his hands when asked, but he was quickly arrested and removed from the home. As soon as he was taken care of, officers noticed something particularly strange about the house. There were leaves everywhere. The living room floor was almost complete.
Oh, what the hell? The narrator just now said there was leaves everywhere, so I was expecting like, I don't know, like a thin layer of like a bunch of leaves scattered around. Dude, this is a whole ass pile.
There were leaves everywhere. The living room floor was almost completely covered in a huge pile of leaves. At first, the police were worried that the leaf pile might be hiding something sinister, like a body. But after searching through, they were relieved to find that this wasn't the case. Still, things only got weirder from there. There were also bags of leaves lining every wall of the bathroom. After breaking down the door of a locked bedroom, police discovered what looked like a marijuana growing operation that was not active. In a freezer, they found 2 dead squirrels lying right next to a few red popsicles. But the biggest surprise was hidden in the basement.
Some random dead squirrel. This whole thing is creepy. Because if like logically you would think all of those leaves are to maybe hide a dead body, but it's not. But that almost makes it creepier in a way because it's just so random. Like, why are you stockpiling leaves and then like lining your walls with it? Oh, it's to insulate sound, huh? You think? Like if he committed the murder or whatever, or if he kidnapped somebody, it's to help keep the noise in.
It was blocking the doorway, but once moved, an officer discovered Tina's daughter, Sarah Maynard, lying on a sleeping bag on top of a pile of leaves in Matthew's basement. Her feet and hands were bound with yellow rope and duct tape. Alongside her in the basement were more trash bags filled with leaves. Thankfully, Sarah appeared to be unharmed, but she was wearing a makeshift diaper made from a plastic bag. As officers approached her, she was very confused and told them that she was late for school and kept asking
What the fuck?
about what happened to her dog, Tanner. Sarah was likely in shock or possibly dissociating. When something very scary or traumatic happens, someone may dissociate to protect themselves. They may feel disconnected from what is really going on or as though they are in a dreamlike state because reality is too difficult to face. Have you ever gotten in the car to drive home, and then suddenly you realize you're almost back, but you don't remember the drive? That is a very mild form of dissociation. There was no sign of Tina, Cody, or Stephanie anywhere in the home. Investigators took care to photograph the way Sarah was bound before they freed her and brought her upstairs to wait for medical attention. Sarah was then brought by EMS to Knox Community Hospital, where she was thoroughly examined and questioned. Despite the trauma she'd endured, she carefully outlined every detail of what had happened. She said that she and her brother had returned home from school on Wednesday and were attacked by Matthew as soon as they entered. She ran to her bedroom, but Matthew grabbed her and carried her down into the basement. There he found some rope that was already in the house and used it to tie her up. He then left her on the kitchen floor for a period of time. She wasn't sure how long before he put her into Stephanie's Jeep and drove her to the Howard Ballfield parking lot. He covered her with blankets and left her there. Matthew later returned and put her into another car and drove to his house. Once there, he bound her hands in work gloves and duct tape, had her gagged, and kept her locked in the bathroom in a closet before he put her into the basement.
Wait, what happened to the brother, though?
Sarah said that she believed Matthew had killed her mother, brother, Stephanie, and her dog, but she wasn't sure. She revealed that during the time Matthew had kidnapped her, about 4 days, he cut her finger with a knife, repeatedly assaulted her, and said that he was going to release her before Christmas. But he never told her what happened to her mother, brother, or Stephanie. After being medically cleared, Sarah was then released into her father's custody. Initially, after he was arrested, Matthew was placed under 24-hour watch after crying and threatening to harm himself. Eventually, though, he was brought in to speak with investigators.
What a
The
bitch.
following interrogations took place over
Crying and like threatening to off himself just like all these pussies do. If you don't let me go, I'm gonna kill myself because I can't face the consequences of my actions.
Eventually, though, he was brought in to speak with investigators. The following interrogations took place over 4 days and have never been analyzed before. The interrogator reads Matthew his Miranda rights, but he's almost completely unresponsive and barely even acknowledges the detectives.
Bottom paragraph says, my rights have been explained to me and I understand each of those rights. Having those rights in mind, I'm willing at this time to make a statement or answer questions. You understand that, Matt? Yeah. You understand?
You
It's
understand,
possible
bitch
that Matthew
boy?
is in a catatonic state, which can occur with some psychological disorders, including schizophrenia. When the person is experiencing catatonia, they may be completely unresponsive with their body, like Matthew is now. It's also possible that this is his way of coping with the stress of the interrogation.
Nah. He's not experiencing an episode. He's experiencing what I like to call being a little bitch.
Someone who is under extreme stress may limit their movements in an effort to go unnoticed, also known as freezing. Of course, it's also the possibility that he's refusing to cooperate to intentionally avoid having to answer questions.
You want to talk to one of us alone, or do you want us both in here, or you comfortable with both of us being here? Matt?
Soon they start to get creative in the hopes that Matthew will begin talking.
Hey, Matt, can I ask you a question? You look familiar. You look familiar to me. You, work out at the gym?
Though Matthew remains silent, he finally reacts, but what he does is one of the most bizarre things we have ever seen in an interrogation.
You know, other people, there's family members out there of other people, and all they want is closure. That's all they want. They've been up for days like you and I have, you know? Heart hurts. I don't understand sign language, man.
Matthew's hand signals seem to say that his heart is broken. This is, of course, not real sign language. However, it's certainly odd that he's using hand
Bro, this cringe lord. Is he, what can't he use his words? Yeah, he's acting like he can't speak. He's actually acting like a little ass kid. Also, can we talk about this busted ass fit? Bro, what is this, like Eric Cartman? Literally, bro.
Matthew's hand signals seem to say that his heart is broken. This is, of course, not real sign language. However, it's certainly odd that he's using hand signals to communicate, but this could be an indication of Matthew's childlike nature.
What do you want from us? Tell me what you want from us.
Matthew sits with his eyes closed as the detectives try relentlessly to get him to start talking.
We want a couple minutes here just to kind of think about all this, because I know it's overwhelming for you right now.
I'm beginning to think Matt don't care.
He cares.
The detectives are speaking as if Matthew isn't in the room. They're likely trying to see if something they say strikes a chord and makes him want to chime in to correct their assumptions about him. When this attempt doesn't work, the interrogator tries another, more confrontational approach.
Somebody will cry today. If I make a phone call after this interview, somebody will cry. But I guarantee you, some of that cry will be joy. Because they know where Cody is. They know where Tina is. They know where Stephanie is. I know they'll cry for somewhat joy, Matt, because I've already heard it with Sarah.
Matthew tightens one hand into a fist and then covers it with the other hand, a sign that he's feeling very anxious.
What I'm probably going to do, Matt, is leave this room, and when I get away from these guys, probably cry like a baby. Because it's working on me, man. Big time.
Finally, after sitting in silence and almost completely unresponsive for over 4 hours, Matthew cracks.
I can't tell you anything because I don't know. You know, I knew I must have done something wrong. And I found her in my house. She kind of... And so I took care of her.
Psychopaths often try to paint themselves as the good guy or the hero, like Matthew did here, when claiming that he took care of Sarah. This is a sign of antisocial personality disorder, also known as ASPD. However, when someone with psychopathy does something horrible, they will sometimes pick out one positive thing they did in the midst of all the horrible things in order to claim that they are good. What Matthew claims he had done to, in his words, take care of Sarah, was feed her, let her watch the movie Iron Man, and allow her to borrow his copy of the book Treasure Island.
I don't really know anything else. So I was trying to figure out what had happened.
Matthew's claim to not know what he did is one of the mysteries with psychopaths and people with severe personality disorders, because they sometimes dissociate and can't recall their actions. This is particularly true for the very mentally ill psychopaths, such as someone with psychopathy mixed with psychosis. Other times, their supposed inability to remember is just their way of manipulating and pretending that they weren't aware of what they were doing.
At what point did you find her tied up in your house? Thursday. Did you ask her? Did you speak with her about, what happened? How did you get here? Anything like that?
She said I'd done it. I figured I'd done something I didn't know. I just could try to put pieces together.
It still isn't clear what happened to Tina, Cody, or Stephanie, or where they are. However, given the evidence of blood found in the home and Sarah's testimony that she believed Matthew killed them, investigators weren't hopeful that they would be found alive.
Yeah, I forgot about that detail. Yeah, there was a lot of blood in the house. Either they're all dead or maybe he just killed one. I'm really worried about the brother because he was also very young. And just based on how this guy is behaving, I mean, he just strikes me as a pussy, I'm not going to lie. I can see him probably going after the brother first because both of the kids were pretty young and little.
Did you recognize her as someone that you had seen before? And, did you realize that this is a person you'd seen before that now was in your house? Or
I don't know.
Did you make that connection? You don't know her? I mean, I'm just asking because they were the pictures on the camera and they weren't taken, at the time that this happened. So I was just wondering if you, in other words, if it was someone you knew and then, wow, how did you get here in my house? Because she said that she asked you a couple of times. Do you remember that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Childlike behavior is very typical of people with personality disorders, including ASPD. However, Matthew is extremely childlike. When under stress, psychopaths and many people with ASPD often regress to childlike behaviors, but they often do so knowingly as a way to attempt to manipulate their way out of consequences. A female officer, believed to be a psychologist, enters the room and begins speaking with Matthew one-on-one. She set up the room differently so they're more side by side instead of across the table, which doesn't allow Matthew to have the barrier of the table between them, keeping his distance and guard up.
I think what we were talking about earlier and kind of feeling alone, and that's definitely how I felt when I went to Chicago. I knew no one there. I was the only one out of my class sent there.
The interviewer is trying to build rapport with Matthew and trying to make it seem like she can relate to him, possibly feeling lonely in a city where you don't know anyone. This is to make him feel less judged and to start moving him closer to a confession.
But you had a purpose.
Yeah.
Ikigai.
What's that?
It's Japanese.
Oh.
Ikigai.
Oh my god, he's a fucking weeb. Oh my, no.
Sense of purpose.
Mm-hmm.
He latches onto her comment about a lack of purpose. She'll now likely use this as the theme for why he did what he did, as he was receptive to it. This is a step in the Reed technique of theme development. When developing themes, the interrogator speaks in a soft, soothing voice to appear non-threatening and to lull the suspect into a false sense of security.
What if bro hit a Ryoiki Tenkai? Boku no femboy.
So I did go out to Colorado after I graduated high school.
Did you?
That's where I got into my first trouble. It's something.
Lock in. Sorry. Lock in. I'm just like, this guy's such a loser. I wouldn't be surprised if bro started saying shit from anime.
Really bad. That's where I got into my first trouble. It's something really bad. I pieced it together. I figured it out. And I might turn myself in out of my first prison time.
You went out there with a sense of purpose. I don't know.
It is clear he likes playing the victim role, and the interviewer will allow him to seem like a victim to get him to confess. But admitting that he had done something very bad in the past, it shows that he has some awareness of what bad is. So if there is any doubt that he's insane, this could show that he's likely not entirely insane.
I guess I burned down a condo. I did burn down a condo.
In 2001, Matthew was convicted of arson, burglary, assault, and motor vehicle theft while in Routt County, Colorado. It's believed that he set fire to a vacation condo to hide any evidence that he'd been staying there without the owner's permission. He was eventually released from prison and paroled back to Ohio.
It's okay. You didn't want to hurt anybody. You just wanted a release.
The investigator now offers a justification for his actions, saying he just wanted a release and didn't want to hurt anybody. This is another Reed technique used to make him feel more at ease with admitting to the things he did. She's proposed a more morally acceptable reason for his actions that he can latch onto.
I don't want to hurt anyone. It's not me.
Again, her tactic works, and he repeats what she said.
You know what antipsychotic medication is?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, It doesn't. I read about it. It doesn't directly address the problem. It's just powerful. It tranquilizers. I'll take it if I have to. I don't want to be a teacher.
It's interesting that Matthew agrees he will take an antipsychotic medication if he has to. It appears that he may be trying to claim that he is psychotic or was acting due to psychosis when he committed the crime.
Crazy.
Why do you think that?
Because I must have done something bad. I wouldn't be here if I didn't.
Well, that can be worked through.
Again, he's playing innocent and claiming to be unaware of his actions.
Yeah, he's saying shit like, oh, if I'm here, I must have done something bad. Bullshit.
This is not a believable tactic. And hearing this, it's easy to assume that he's lying and manipulating or playing crazy to try to get out of the consequences he knows he'll be facing. While this could be the case, it's also possible that Matthew has gotten used to dissociating throughout his life, meaning that he copes with whatever unpleasant or uncomfortable feelings he experiences after doing something bad by completely erasing it from memory. This isn't a totally conscious process, of course, because people can't consciously decide to erase something from memory. However, this type of dissociation is something a person can learn to do as early as childhood, particularly people who have gone through severe abuse during childhood. In addition, detectives found an extremely large number of leaves inside Matthew's home. This is certainly unusual and may be a sign of a severe mental health disorder. One of the symptoms of schizophrenia is delusions, in which the person may hold strange or odd beliefs. Although Matthew has made no mention of the leaves, it's possible that he holds some type of delusion involving leaves. The sheer amount of time that it would have taken him to gather that many leaves and bring inside lends support to the theory that he likely has a very strongly held belief about the leaves.
Okay, potentially, I can't, guarantee these things. What facility you might go to, where you might go, what might happen, and the attitude that the people in the system are going to take toward you can be affected by the fact that you decided at this point to do the right thing.
The male detective takes a very different approach with Matthew than the previous interrogator. He's much louder, more aggressive, and more direct.
From the moment we broke into your house, found you and found her in the basement, you owned it all. You own it all. Okay? You can't do anything about the part of it you own.
Matthew clearly doesn't respond well to the detective's assertive and somewhat aggressive approach. It appears that he's covering his ears with his arms, possibly trying to block out what the detective is saying. He's silent again, and the detective allows the silence to linger in the hopes that he will make a decision as to whether he will confess. The detective mirrors Matthew's posture and body language here. Although this can be viewed as a way of invading Matthew's personal space, it could also be the detective's way of trying to connect with Matthew. The intensity appeared to cause Matthew to become more distressed. However, by mirroring his body language, the detective is relaying a message of understanding.
And if you didn't have a plan and you just put in the Jeep and you just pulled over somewhere, there's weeds in the Jeep, so it looks like you probably pulled into a field somewhere, and that's how the weeds got on there. If it's a random place, give you an idea where a street it might be on or off. But you got to be able to narrow the field down from the whole county. And the dumping itself has to be less traumatic to recall than all the stuff going on in the bathroom. Just tell us where to look, and I will stand up in court and say that you did. And I will go to Sarah myself and tell her that you did.
The detective returns to this theme that has Matthew looking like a good guy. He even uses Sarah seeing him as helpful as a bargaining chip.
Okay, I don't want you to get upset, but the reason we're driving around, and we don't have to drive around. Okay, remember, I came in here saying that I didn't want to drive around unless there was some value in it. Okay, right. That's the whole point. Is will you see something that will, prompt your memory? But I want to talk about what the possibilities would be for that location. Okay, in other words, not across the street. We're not going to put bodies across the street. What would you do, from there? In terms of a place you might go.
We're not going to be mad at you if you don't know exactly. Your memory is not exact.
Props to these guys for having this much patience. Bro, I just don't know how investigators can do it, or interrogators. God, especially with a case like this. I can't stand when grown-ass motherfuckers act like children. I mean, you guys remember when he was like hunched over covering his ears and shit? Like, bro, you killed somebody. Not like seeing that kind of position from a grown man would piss me off.
Because you have said that you want to know. You're afraid to find out, but there's a part of you that wants to know. If it doesn't happen, genuinely, then it doesn't happen. I'm not going to be upset.
Matthew seems to like the attention and pampering he's receiving from the detective and the psychologist, who are treating him with care and catering to him as they try to locate the bodies. The detective almost sounds father-like as he's talking to Matthew about doing the right thing, almost like a mentor, and the psychologist takes on a nurturing maternal role in her soft-spoken and calm way. Matthew's severe emotional immaturity appears to have elicited this sort of care from them.
Drive you, let you see it, and kind of see what happens. I mean, I ask you, or Chris may ask you an occasional question. But that's all. That's all we're trying to do. Okay? Yeah, let's check on. We have to put a pair of cups on. What do you use, Vince? Sure.
For water, do you like water better?
Can we take the water too?
Yeah. All right, do you want to go to the bathroom before we go? Are you good?
I think I should go.
Okay. You gotta walk that with me. Okay. This way.
Whether or not the police truly believe Matthew's claims that he can't remember what happened to the 3 missing people, they took him on a ride in an effort to refresh his memory. He didn't reveal anything. It's possible that Matthew simply wanted to escape from the interrogation room, and this car ride was a break for him from the intense questioning. The next day, Matthew is once again brought back into the interrogation room. This is now day 4. The detective removes Matthew's handcuffs. This is a gesture of goodwill in the hopes that he will appreciate it and be more cooperative with them.
Does that need to go in the microwave, or is it okay? Okay.
Giving him food and coffee are gestures of friendliness they hope he will reciprocate. The detective even offers to heat up his food again, trying to build rapport and seem like an ally to Matthew. He's just come out of his jail cell and may be even more receptive to the outside comforts they're providing him. He doesn't say thank you or appear appreciative, which further displays his antisocial personality.
You guys just starting your day?
Yeah, pretty much. It's about 9:30. A little bit earlier. You normally an early riser, or do you stay up late sleeping?
I get up early.
Get him talking.
Bro's really just chilling. Like I'm starting to think like he's just dragging this whole child act and psychotic act just so he can enjoy his last couple of days before he gets his sentencing. He's for real dragging this shit. He knows he's fucked, so he's just like, okay, I'm gonna play this up, and then it's obviously working. He's on day 4. He's eating McDonald's.
He clearly prefers to sit in silence, so this is essential for someone like this.
What are your thoughts today after the things we talked about and kind of left it last night with you feeling like you wanted to do what you could to help?
His behavior could point to severe trauma and or mental defect. The detective realizes he must take some sort of action to get anywhere with Matthew and asks the other interrogator to step out.
Chris, can you give us a couple minutes? Did you put hands on the train camera?
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
Awkward for you, but I want to give you what you asked for.
Changing the dynamic in the room can sometimes prove useful. The detective slides his chair closer to Matthew, invading his personal space to try to snap him out of the daze he's in.
This is not unusual for us. I mean, a lot of times somebody wants to talk to one of the other. She won't take it personally.
Matthew shifts in his chair, positioning himself slightly away from the detective. This may be a sign that he's trying to decrease his feelings of discomfort about the detective sitting so close to him.
It's more than one time that I've advocated for the person that I'm working with as a result of how things have gone. So when I tell you that, this is what I'll do or what I can't do.
When the detective states that he has in previous cases advocated for the suspect, Matthew quickly looks up and makes eye contact with the detective for the first time since he's been in there. This statement has piqued his interest and attention, and the detective should take note of this and continue to use this theme of him being able to help him.
What a predictable little cunt. The second he heard, like, oh, he could be on my side. He could actually get me out of here. He might get me a lesser sentencing. All of a sudden, the childish act goes away and he locks in. Shit like that is what always makes me skeptical about anybody, even if it's valid, anybody who claims to have some kind of psychotic episode.
Can you answer? Missing here? On the floor. Well, yeah, it's connected.
Well, that's all. That's just a search. A converter that converts electrical current into a current that computer looks up. And that computer is a CVSA, which is a type of computer that analyzes voice stress. It's kind of one of the newer types of lie detectors that they use.
So isn't the microphone?
No.
Despite Matthew appearing to be in a daze the majority of the time, this question about a microphone shows that he's aware of his surroundings, and he likely has some sort of plan, which is why he's wondering if he's being recorded. He's likely not as lost and distraught as he's presented to be.
What's the thing in your ankle?
Oh my God.
See, so it's like when it's convenient to him, he exhibits the symptoms of being in psychosis or being, what did the narrator say? Antisocial something disorder. He's behaving like a child. But then now notice again how locked the fuck in this guy is. He's like, is that a microphone? So he's scanning his surroundings. He's conscious of it all. And now the fact that he asked about the microphone, it's like he's asking so that he's able to appropriately adjust what he's about to say and how he's going to behave. Fuck this guy.
Matthew continues to delay because he keeps discussing things that aren't relevant and then asks to use the bathroom.
This coffee's kind of getting me. Can we go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
All right.
No. You're not going to try to overpower me and take my gun or anything, right?
No, you might. If you want to, you can give it to someone
Okay.
else.
The detective is careful to not turn his back on Matthew, just in case he snaps and tries to attack him, especially after the comments about the gun.
You can even put the case on if you want.
Okay. Were you going to
Talking about the gun and offering to have the cuffs put back on is a very unusual interaction, to say the least. It could be that Matthew might be aware of his own impulsivity. Perhaps he doesn't trust what he might do in a moment of impulse. The detective took Matthew to a restroom just down the hall from...
I mostly think that he just said that to comfort the guy. Because at this point, they have been interacting for a while. For multiple days. I think in a way, low-key, he does have a little bit of a connection with this investigator now. So I think him offering to put on the cuffs was mostly just like a good gesture, in my opinion. Like just to ease his nerves about him not doing anything. Like anything in regards to the claimed psychotic episodes and how he might not know what he's gonna do next. That's bullshit to me. I just don't buy it.
I'm sorry. I feel like I failed you. I'm sorry if I let you down.
The detective is saying this as a tactic to essentially place the blame on himself for Matthew not being cooperative to see if that has any positive outcomes.
I feel myself. I've let you down. I've let Sarah down. I've let everybody down.
Look, Sarah got recovered.
The detective may be trying to...
Bro's baiting sympathy. Oh, he's like, oh, I let everybody down. I let everyone down. I suck in my job. And then this guy, he's about to be like, oh, no, Papa, you did good. I killed them. I swear it was me. I did. Yeah, I killed them. Could you imagine? What if that actually happened?
Sarah got recovered.
The detective may be trying to appeal to Matthew's feelings about Sarah. Earlier in the interrogation, he oddly stated that he took care of her.
And I found her in my house. She tied up. And so I took care of her.
The detective may be hoping that Matthew feels some shred of empathy for Sarah, so he'll provide them with the location of the other victims for Sarah's sake.
Everything I've told you has been the truth, but I'm being truthful with you now. I mean, it's not just about you, Matthew. It's about her. I mean, like I said, I think I failed you. I failed her. Law enforcement, hey, I failed them before. But I mean, that's the package.
Did you hear any of our conversation?
No. In a bathroom, and you're now once I left, I didn't hear anything.
Do you want to tell her?
No, I was wondering if maybe she had been listening with any voices.
You want privacy, we need privacy.
So, are you probably not going to keep it private?
Matthew revealed something to the detective in the bathroom that he's concerned the female interviewer will find out about. He may feel embarrassed for her to know either because she is a female or because he still wants to appear like the victim as she was previously treating him.
Our conversation, like, is this?
The only thing, my intention, I'll be honest with you right now, is to just tell Chris what we said. Okay? But I will tell you this, okay? If you tell us, I will keep that private.
The detective quickly realizes he now has some leverage over Matthew and uses it to create a quid pro quo scenario. Matthew is about to unveil a disturbing and unexpected revelation.
So I had a really horrific dream last night. It was disgusting.
Wait, what did he say? Okay, so he had a really horrific dream last night.
It was disgusting. Getting it out of my stomach. Awful.
Oh, let me guess. His dream that he had last night is gonna be exactly what he did that night to those kids.
This is some really disgusting stuff in a big garbage can. I was hoping I could make some excuse for you guys to kill me.
From what I've heard from your family, that's something that would just hurt them more. And hurting yourself is not going to help anybody, including yourself.
Matt said that he had the dream dealt with the food processing plant, where they chopped food up, and that there were garbage bags there that were that then he opened or looked in garbage can or bag, not sure which, and he saw body parts, chopped up stuff, and I'm not sure what to think now in terms of whether he knows or doesn't know. He doesn't appear to have any concerns about the consequences in terms of trials and courts.
The detective reiterates Matthew's story as if he believes his version of events, but then makes it clear he's holding back additional information. This is to try to get Matthew to disclose the location of the bodies.
Matt, in terms of this deal I'm offering you, okay, I mean, so to speak, okay, what can you tell us what you do remember? I mean, my concern again is with the location. Can you tell us what you do remember?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, you know, I thought you want me to talk about the offer you made to me, what you wanted to have accomplished as a result of the day, the trip.
I figure that's
You figure you already revealed that. I mean, you know, in other words, you did ask me earlier, am I going to say that? And I said that, you know, I would not say it. I would not give. See, what I'm figuring is that here's some others. I'll be rejecting to take over this, but I just want to throw something with it. I thought that what your concern was that I didn't tell him about the desire to have us shoot you escaping.
Matthew's secret is that he wants to be shot by the detective. The detective agrees to keep this a secret so that he may be able to carry it out. This is all just a ploy to try to get Matthew to disclose the body's location, as he clearly cannot agree to kill him.
Wait, so Matthew wants the detective to shoot him. Is the detective gonna play into that? Like, hey, bro, if you tell me where the bodies are, I'm gonna murk your ass. I'm gonna murk your ass.
Just a ploy to try to get Matthew to disclose the body's location, as he clearly cannot agree to kill him.
And that because if I shared that then they would go to extreme measures to keep that from happening.
there's no trust on either side. There's no way of proving that. There's no way you can just shoot me if everyone knows.
I know that.
If I try to escape, we have a legitimate reason.
But the bottom line is, what does all this have to do with not telling us where they are? How does that hurt things?
I don't understand.
Well, help me understand.
It's hard to tell if Matthew actually believes his claim about his dream, or if all of this is just him buying time or trying to play crazy.
And nobody thinks that the person
He's definitely
in this position
playing.
that comes to this point does this through their own fault. I'm not going to try and figure it all out, but I mean, I know, your dad and mom split up when you were 3. You went through a life without a dad. That's a major impact. It affects a lot of people in a lot of really negative ways. I know your dad was a 40-year.
Oh, okay, so he's bringing up like his hard life to try. I guess he's just trying to, cozy up to him. He's like kind of preemptively excusing his actions.
Firefighter through life without a dad. That's a major impact. It affects a lot of people in a lot of really negative ways. I know your dad was a 40-year firefighter, and you set some fires. Okay.
His obsession with leaves and the fact that he accumulates a large collection of leaves in his home could be his way of coping with the abandonment issues related to his father, who reportedly was a firefighter. It's possible that setting fire to leaves, and thus his obsession with leaves, could be related to his hatred for his father or his desire for his father to notice him. People who feel lonely, hopeless, or empty inside often derive comfort from material objects because they might not be able to get the love and attention they want from people in their lives. As a result, they turn to obsession and fixations with things in order to feel less alone. In Matthew's case, accumulating large quantities of leaves may have brought him a feeling of fullness and comfort. However, it's also possible that Matthew may have some sort of mental illness and has some strange beliefs about leaves. One of the symptoms of schizophrenia is delusions. Yet Matthew doesn't seem to have schizophrenia, as he doesn't appear to be in a psychotic episode during these interrogations. When he does speak, he sounds clear, coherent, and he's aware of what's happening around him. He doesn't appear to be responding to any internal stimuli, as you might expect with someone who is schizophrenic.
Yes, that's what I was saying. Like, he's too aware of what's going on around him to be, I don't know, I just don't buy the whole psychosis thing.
To our knowledge, Matthew was never diagnosed with schizophrenia.
With all honesty, Matt, I say this very genuinely. You are sitting in self-pity, and that doesn't even help.
Damn, he got so annoying. The previously nice female detective, even she's now like, okay, bro, you're kind of pathetic.
It's very genuinely. You are sitting in self-pity, and that doesn't even help you.
The female detective calls Matthew out for his self-pity and victim mentality. This is a sign that they're done using this theme to get him to speak, since allowing him to play the role of the victim has not produced any answers. She then directs him to think about the future and how he'll be viewed in the hopes this will get him talking.
Talk to you guys, it's only myself. I don't have any mind left.
Well, I disagree on that. I think you do, and you can.
Matthew is intelligent and knows that if he tells them where the bodies are, there's no guarantee of any real benefit to him. The most likely way to get him to give up this information would be in exchange for a plea deal, such as removing the death penalty. However, given Matthew's expression of wanting to be shot, that may not be motivating to him.
They're pushing, the prosecutors are pushing to have you come and have a hearing, and this is it. This is your last chance to talk to us, literally.
Ooh, that'll do it. That would do it for me. If I start hearing like this is your last chance, like after this, you're just gonna be in a court of law, and it's gonna be you against the judge. No, yeah, he's probably gonna break really soon.
Unless he's a lawyer prison.
That's what they're pushing for. You're saying, yeah, you're saying you're still willing to talk to us without an attorney, but that's what's being done now as far as pushing for that. So this is your last chance right now to talk to us.
They'll come and make the decisions for you.
Yeah,
I mean, literally, they'll
switch
take
it
that
all
away.
around.
They make it sound like it's your freedom to go and form you.
The detective knows that it's very important for Matthew to feel like he is the one in control, and he is calling the shots. He makes it sound like if he gets a lawyer, the lawyer will be controlling him. He knows Matthew won't like feeling powerless.
Ooh.
And the lack of media pressure also takes on the other people that are, being affected by it. Sorry about that.
Okay. We're done. We apparently are told we're done. Keep everything we said in mind for you. Think about it and think about what you can do for yourself after you talk to an attorney.
Figure out what that. Man, no, they're gonna take you back down to jail because for security reasons the attorneys can't be with you here, okay? Remember, public defenders have their own interests sometimes in this, so, use your head. Okay, you're a smart guy. Take care of yourself. I don't know if I have a chance we'll talk again.
I hope we do. I hope we do talk to you again. Here.
The detective ends things on a friendly note, calling him Buddy, and touches him on the shoulder as a last-ditch effort to leave a positive impression.
Damn.
This is in the hopes that
See, like, yeah, but before he's leaving, the investigator, he's really trying to, like, last second, like, buzzer beater type shit in the NBA. Like he's really trying to be like, hey, like, this is gonna be the last time you see me. After I leave, I can't protect you. Like, I'm the only person offering you kind of, like, protection right now.
he may at some point change his mind and confess to the location of the bodies. The big question here is Matthew's strange behavior in the interrogation all an act either for pity, attention, or a ploy to get an insanity defense? Or is what we are seeing actually the real Matthew? Matthew later revealed that he made up the entire story about his dream about the food processing plant, where he opened a trash bag and saw cut-up body parts. He admitted that it was all a lie to try and get himself killed by the police because he didn't want to be injected with Thorazine, an antipsychotic medication, for the rest of his life. He said he still didn't remember where the bodies were. In a written confession, Matthew admitted even more, telling the investigators that he'd been staking out Tina's home the night before the attack, sleeping in the woods across the street. The next morning, he watched as everyone left and then snuck into the home through the garage. His plan had been to burglarize the home and sneak away without anyone seeing him. He chose Tina's house because there weren't any close neighbors, and the door was often left ajar.
Ooh.
However, Tina and Stephanie returned.
Oh, yeah, there's no nearby neighbors
Because
there
there
at
weren't any
all.
close neighbors.
Look at that. It's even worse, too. It's like, it's not even out in the open. It's surrounded by all these trees. Oh, my goodness.
And the door was often left ajar. However, Tina and Stephanie returned and caught Matthew in the act. He claimed he ambushed them in a panic. He wrote, "I was in a total state of shock. I wandered around the house, slowly coming to realization of what I'd done and how bad it was. During this time, I killed Tina's dog because it would not stop barking. It only got worse because then Sarah and Cody returned home. Matthew attacked and killed Cody before tying up Sarah."
Oh, dude, no, that's what I was afraid of. He did kill the little 10-year-old boy. And then, yeah, the dog, of course. But man.
He wrote, "I did not enter the house to kill those people. I did not know a single one of them."
Yeah, I think he was only
Shortly
10.
after killing Tina, Stephanie, and Cody, Matthew drove to Gambier to collect gas cans from his own vehicle with the intention of burning down Tina's house. It was then that he was stopped by an officer who eventually let him go. He gave up his plan to burn down the house and instead returned to his own, where he built a campfire, burned his shoes, and drank a bottle of wine. On November 18th, Matthew finally cracked and agreed to show investigators the location of Tina, Cody, and Stephanie's bodies. It's unclear if Matthew's memory of what he did came back, or more likely, if he'd been lying about not remembering all along. He described the spot to officers where he dumped the bodies, hidden in the Cocosine wildlife area. As the detectives traveled through fields to a wooded area, other officers secured the perimeter. They eventually found a hollow beech tree that matched Matthew's description, which had a hole about 6 feet up from the ground. There was also a second larger hole near the branches. When an officer looked inside the hole, they spotted what looked like trash bags hidden inside the tree.
Inside the tree. I forgot the name of the video. The horror inside the hollowed tree. He found a hollow tree and stuck the bodies in them. Oh my god. That's actual. That is something you would see in a movie. It's crazy. I'm surprised he didn't like burn it. He murdered 3 people and then 1 dog. But why? It's so random. I remember. Sorry. There was like they had a messy breakup, right? It was a messy breakup.
Another hole was cut in the tree and the trash bags were examined, revealing remains belonging to Tina Herman, Cody Maynard, Stephanie Sprang, and Tanner the dog. Matthew later revealed he got the bodies inside the tree using the top hole and a rig and pulley system to drop them inside. There's some speculation that when Matthew worked as a tree trimmer, he had hollowed out the tree himself.
That's crazy. Actual psychopath shit. I'm calling him a psychopath more so just to like name call, but like I don't think he actually has any kind of illness, in my opinion. I don't know. Like he's just way too aware of his surroundings. He cut a perfect ass square in this hollow tree, stuck the bodies in there, all of them too, all 3 bodies and the dog. That's so bizarre.
On January 6, 2011, Matthew avoided the death penalty by pleading guilty to 10 felonies. After everything that was found, it was clear that Matthew had a bizarre obsession with leaves. Forensic psychologists testified that his leaf obsession was delusional, and they believed that he may have hidden the bodies inside of a tree because it was familiar and comforting to him. Matthew Hoffman was then sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Good.
That same month, his leaf-filled home went into foreclosure, and eventually the tree where the bodies had been hidden was cut.
Yeah, none of it made sense. Like what the leaves gave him comfort. Like I didn't see any connection there. It was delusional. Yeah. See, he was a bullshitter from the beginning. His leaf obsession, it was all just random.
Delusional, and they believed that he may have hidden the bodies inside of a tree because it was familiar and comforting to him.
What does that even mean? He hid the bodies in the tree because it was comforting? What? I'm glad this motherfucker, yeah, I'm glad they didn't cave to his claim of being crazy. He has life in prison, no parole, right?
Then sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Good. Yeah, this dumbass. So like the whole time he was just a fucking idiot. The whole acting like a little kid, covering his ears. No, yeah, just absolutely infuriating ass case. It was like the way that he hid the bodies was spooky, but the overall case wasn't really spooky. It was more frustrating than anything else. He was just, I'm sorry, he was giving rage baiter. Rest in peace to that family. Stephanie, Tina, and Cody, and then the dog. I forgot the dog's name. I'm sorry. I mean, in the end, they got justice at the very least. But I mean, that girl that he had locked up, that 13-year-old that he had tied up, I mean, she's gonna have mental scars for the rest of her life, definitely. Yeah, her name was Sarah. Thank you so much for watching, YouTube. Thank you for watching that video with me, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.